5-year-old Richard McCann with his sister Sonia at Beckett's Park Children's Home. The day he was given the news that would change his life forever. His mother Wilma McCann had been murdered, the first victim of the Yorkshire Ripper.
A plainclothes police officer sat us down. He was being really friendly towards us, but he basically told us that Mum had been taken to heaven, that unfortunately we weren't going to see her again. And I didn't want to believe it. For many years I struggled, children's home, then quite a problematic childhood, so I had low self-esteem. So I share how I started off, but the important, or the inspirational part is I share the steps that I took to become the person I am today, and it's been quite a journey, let me tell you.
A journey which included 6 months in jail for drug dealing.
Coming out of prison, which 20 years ago, it was very challenging. The biggest challenge was I couldn't get a job. I had a criminal record now, got involved in recreational drugs. Nobody wanted to set me on. And I have to say that I reached a low point and I formed a suicide pact with my sister, and the day we discussed it, she took the tablets. It brought me to my senses. We got into hospital, and so it was that reaching that low that nudged me to take that next step and go for my final interview. And I got a job for a company in Leeds. Lawrence Simmons, I'll never forget him offering me a job at the last minute, just before my house was taken from me. And that was, I think, September '97, and that was the start of the turnaround.
And it is the story of that turnaround that Richard now shares at presentations all around the world.
But I've spoken to 250,000 people now, and far too many times to be able to recall them all. I get inundated by people to say, you know what, that's helped me. Sometimes 10 years later, a young person whose school I might have spoken in, to say how I helped them when we were going through a challenge at the time. And it's great to hear them, because every time I get a letter or I hear from somebody that's been helped by my story, it means my mum's death wasn't in vain. Yeah, we're on the 703 from Birmingham to Leeds. I'm in a random train, don't know these people, but I've been challenged to stand up and say a few words of inspiration.
It was during this speech, which was broadcast live on the internet, that a friend challenged him to deliver 44 speeches in as many days. He accepted and will attempt the task at companies in Leeds city centre, but decided he'd do it in just a single day.
20 years ago, almost to the day, I was released from Armley Prison in Leeds.
With this pay-as-you-feel cafe in Hare Hills set to benefit.
This is the kind of place that my mum would have come when I was a child. So I was inspired to raise some money for them. So the £44 from each company will go to the TLC cafe in Hare Hills.
I am a stone, and he actually put a tear to my eye just to know that how he's changed his life over and how he's a better role model for his children and for other children that are growing up.
Richard's now working to get the last businesses on board as he prepares to share his story of inspiration 44 times come August 3rd. Otis Holmes, ITV News, Leeds.